Welcome, curious minds. Today we're embarking on a deep dive into a really fascinating piece of source material, the Dollmaker's Son, a Midnight Murmur. It's this uniquely unsettling narrative. It blends human grief, really profound grief, with something, well, chillingly uncanny. So our mission today is to unpack the layers here, not just what happens, but really how the story builds that eerie feeling, and maybe why some of these details stick with you. They're quite haunting, frankly. We'll explore how we're introduced to Karim, this master toy maker, and his son, Armand. It starts almost idyllic in this mist-clung village.
Right. But what's really striking is how fast that shifts. It goes from, childhood wonder straight into tragedy, Armin's disappearance. One storm-lit night, it's abrupt. And we'll look at Karim's reaction, his refusal to accept this loss, how his grief takes this extraordinary, almost disturbing turn of the doll carving. We'll trace that escalation, from just one doll to 10, and then suddenly 100, all looking like Armand, all those painted eyes staring back.
Yeah, and we'll also dig into those specific anecdotes scattered through the story, like the guest narrator's uncle. He supposedly heard whispers, "Baba, I'm cold," and that sound. The soft tap, tap, tap of tiny wooden hands. He even thought he saw them move.
And the villagers, refusing to walk past the shop after dark, saying Karim talked to the dolls, calling one Armand, waiting for it to answer. It really makes you question things.
Exactly. Where's the line between grief-fueled delusion and something more?
We'll analyze that moment Karim has found. It's poignant but also unsettling. Slumped across a workbench, a half-carved boy resting in his hands. And the story's very clear. He was buried, but the dolls remained. That's crucial.
And then there's that really chilling secondhand account. The narrator's father, as a boy, describing the dolls not just lined up, but actually posed, like crawling out of cabinets, perched on windowsills, one with its hand right on the glass.
Yeah, like it wanted to get out. That detail gives me chills. And connecting that to the bigger picture, the absolute peak of that account is the boy-sized figure. A wooden boy, so lifelike that its chest rose and fell. Then it smiled.
Oh, that moment. It's pivotal, isn't it? A
Right.
terrifying climax.
Absolutely.
And finally, we'll touch on the shop's legacy, how it's still there, long ago boarded up. The whispers, when the wind blows through, and that sound of carving, supposedly still heard on the anniversary of the boy's disappearance.
And that final warning, it's so specific.
If you ever find a little wooden boy, think twice before you pick it up.
Yeah, because some toys aren't toys at all. It really lingers. So that's what we'll be unpacking for you.
Okay, so let's start at the beginning, where the source material does, painting that initial picture of Karim and Armand. It sets the scene in this mist-clung village. Karim is described as a master of wood and thread, a real keeper of childhood wonder.
Yeah, and the shop itself, smelling of fresh pine and varnish. You get that sensory detail right away. It creates this feeling of warmth, comfort, creation.
It really does.
Yeah.
Which, of course, makes Armand's disappearance hit so much harder.
Absolutely. The story delivers it so starkly. One stormlit night, his bed's empty, the door's open, silence. The woods claimed the silence. That contrast is so effective, isn't it? From that warm, idyllic image to this sudden, chilling emptiness, it pulls you right into Karim's shattered world.
It's not just loss, it feels like an erasure.
Yeah.
Which really fuels his reaction, his refusal to accept it.
Exactly. And that refusal, that intense grief, becomes the real engine driving the story's creepiness. He doesn't just mourn. His sorrow twists into this obsessive act of creation, carving dolls.
And the descriptions. Boy with deep, sad eyes, a boy with a shy smile, dolls that look too real.
It's like his craft, once about wonder, gets perverted, turned into this monument to his pain.
A whole room full of monuments.
Right. And the escalation is key. The story stresses this. One doll became 10, then 100. Each one resembling Armin, each staring with painted eyes. It's not just grief anymore, it's overwhelming. Obsessive replication.
That sheer number and the gaze, it creates that uncanny feeling, doesn't it? Almost human, but definitely not. It's deeply unsettling.
It really is. And that's when the story starts weaving in those anecdotal accounts. The whispered stories.
Like the narrator's uncle, the carpenter, swearing he heard things from the shop late at night.
Those specific phrases are so effective. Baba, I'm cold.
And the sound. Soft tap, tap, tap of tiny wooden hands.
He even claimed he saw them move, just glimpses, when no one was looking. It's subtle, but it creeps in.
It's not jump scares, it's this slow burn of doubt.
Exactly. And the villagers' reaction adds another layer, refusing to walk by after dark, convinced Karim was in there, talking to the dolls, calling one Armin, waiting for an answer.
It makes you, the reader, question too. Is this mass hysteria? shared grief? Or is the author genuinely hinting at something otherworldly?
That ambiguity is where the power lies, I think. You're constantly questioning what's real within the story's world.
Yeah, and that ambiguity just deepens when Karim himself is found. Such a poignant image, but chilling too. Slumped across a workbench, a half-carved boy resting in his hands.
And they buried him quietly. But the story makes that point so explicitly. The dolls remained.
The creator's gone, but the creations, maybe the grief embedded in them, they persist. It's not closure at all.
No, it feels like a terrifying continuation. And the narrative doesn't stop there, does it?
Not at all. We get that secondhand account from the narrator's father. As a boy, he went inside the shop after Karim died.
And his description, it shifts things dramatically. The dolls weren't just there, they were posed.
Right. Crawling out of cabinets, perched on windowsills, that detail about the hand, pressed to the glass like it wanted to get out.
That implies agency, doesn't it? A disturbing level of it. It's not passive anymore. It feels active, unnerving.
And then the real gut punch of that account, what the father saw in the corner.
Mm-hmm. A boy-sized figure.
A wooden boy, so lifelike. Just reading that gives you a pause. But then...
That its chest rose and fell.
Yeah. Breathing. A wooden boy breathing.
Then it smiled.
Ugh. That combination, the breathing and the smile, that's what sent the father running, made him never spoke of it again. It's pure, uncanny horror.
It violates every expectation, doesn't it, of what wood and paint should do. It's fundamentally wrong.
It feels like this story's definitive shift, right? From hints and whispers to undeniable life.
Exactly. It transcends suggestion. It cements the supernatural element that was only hinted at before, blurring that line completely.
And even though Karim is gone, and the father who saw it is long gone, the shop itself, it carries that legacy.
It still stands, the story says. Windows long ago boarded up.
You can still hear whispers when the wind blows through. And on the anniversary,
The sound of carving. Soft, slow strokes of a knife on wood. That persistence decades later makes the horror feel so present. Tangible.
it anchors it
Yeah.
and reinforces that idea that something is still there, lingering.
Right. And when you supposedly press your ear to the door, you hear that boy whisper, "Baba, I'm still here."
Such a simple phrase, but it carries so much weight. Is it Armand? Is it the grief given form?
The ambiguity is terrifying, isn't it? That's where the story's real power lies. It doesn't give you easy answers.
No, it certainly doesn't. And it wraps up with that very direct, very chilling warning.
Yeah, directed right at you, the reader. If you ever find a little wooden boy abandoned in an alley or resting on a doorstep,
Think twice before you pick it up.
because some toys aren't toys at all. It takes this local legend and makes it feel universal, a cautionary tale that leaves you feeling uneasy.
So, wrapping this up, what does it all mean? We've walked through this really unsettling story, the Dollmaker's son. We've seen how Karim's unbearable grief just metastasized into this chilling obsession, filling his shop with these wooden copies of Armand.
Yeah, and we've unpacked how the story uses those specific details so masterfully. The secondhand accounts, the whispers, "Abba, I'm cold," the tapping sounds, the posed dolls, and especially that breathing, smiling wooden boy. It just brilliantly blurs that line between psychological breakdown and genuine supernatural horror.
It builds this incredible sense of dread, doesn't it? And leaves you with so many questions about those dolls. Are they sentient? What really happened to Armand?
Right, the narrative just hangs those questions in the air.
And it highlights how some wounds, maybe some grief, it carves deeper than wood. Some whispers just don't fade. They echo.
It really makes you contemplate that final thought. Can objects actually become imbued with a piece of the soul, especially when they're forged from such intense emotion like grief and longing?
It's a provocative idea.
It is, and it makes you ponder what it really means for Armand to be still here, like that whisper suggests. Is it his spirit trapped? Or has Karim's grief become so powerful it's literally animated these wooden figures? The source leaves that beautifully, terrifyingly open.
It definitely makes you think about the power of belief, maybe the emotional residue left in a place, the echoes. So yeah, the next time you see something just left behind, a little wooden figure perhaps.
You might just pause.
Exactly. Pause and wonder about the story it carries. What kind of life or echo of a life it might hold.